allotment starts, or the site anyway. This is the car park normally, but it's really muddy today, so, and I haven't got tons of stuff with me, so I thought I'd start. I'd park outside. I just thought I'd walk us in so you can see the way to the plot and how we've managed to pick the furthest plot from the car park. See me. There we go. The sun's not in the screen now. I'll turn it off if there's people here, but sometimes it can take you 20 minutes to get to your plot, which is nice though because everyone's really friendly. I just thought I'd do the little walk. There's some little mini plots down here. They don't get a lot of sun, so people tend to take them on and then sort of abandon them really, but someone's still down that bottom bit, which is nice. So this is the main plot site. And we are in the far corner. Just see if there's anybody here. Doesn't look like it yet. I'll just zoom out a little bit. There we go. I'm in a jumper this morning because it's shady on our plot. You don't need it if you're on one of these here. Let's speed this up. So, when we first started allotment in, this was our plot here. The one with the little A-frames they've got for their squashes. This one here was ours. You can kind of tell because the shed is purple. Or violet, should I say. But nobody here. It's normally quite quiet on a Friday morning. Just us and the squirrels. You can walk around the end there. I tend to go up this way. And here we go. Here, in the shade, which is another reason for being early, is the plots. With massive changes that I shall walk you around in a minute. Starting the video a little bit differently this week from our new little seating area, which is in full bloom, which is quite nice, with our comfy chairs that we've now got, which you can't see because there we go. I'm just starting it a little bit differently before I do a tour because there's so many changes, given that I didn't do a tour at the end of June, mainly because for the last 2 months the heat wave kind of started mid-June, and every time we've come up here we've just been crazy watering and picking, and it's just been a bit of a mental couple of months, and you'll see that when I show you around all the beds and the things that have changed. But I just thought I'd say hello from sitting here, get a little bit of shade before I wander off out into the sunshine. So without further ado, let's go for a wander. As I just mentioned, it's now the 1st of August, and I think you can see if I just pan across just how much has changed in the last couple of months. Starting here, my May video, these were just, I don't know, about a foot high coming out of the ground. They're now absolutely smothered in flowers and bringing in the bees. We've got a couple of gladiolus down the other end of this bed, but this one I think is one of my favourite dahlias. This little one here, if you can see that, I think it's called Smarty. I'm not entirely sure now that I've said that because I think Smarty's got purple bits in it, but I will find out and try and put the name on the video. But it's absolutely stunning, and our good old faithful nasturtium's come back. It's come back elsewhere as well, which we didn't know it was there, which I'll show you in a minute. But I'll just do another quick pan around to the sunflowers, which are, oh, there's a little couple of buggies on that sunflower there, which you can see, which we're lacking a little bit this in the polytunnels from bugs, so we've actually opened the polytunnels up and we're netting them rather than shutting the doors. So you see, if I come over this way, polytunnels open, the net's there. It's our normal Friday today, and sorry, I'm just panning back so you can see the honeysuckle. Normal Friday morning, but unfortunately I'm on my own. Ruby's at home, and Mum and Dad's car broke down, so they've had to turn around and go back again in limp mode, which I don't think was much fun going down the A24. But let's have a wander. I haven't picked anything yet. I've done a load of watering this morning, but I haven't picked anything, so you can see it all in full bloom and see all the courgettes on the plant. So let's go into the polytunnel and you can see the massive change. First of all, the staging at the end that was in the last video broke and collapsed, but we rescued the tomatoes, and those tumbling toms are absolutely smothered. These ones are doing, the beef tomatoes at the front here are producing big clusters. So another reason for keeping this front door open is because of the green tunnel. They struggle a bit sometimes to ripen, so we're leaving the front open with just this net that you can see here comes across the door to stop the foxes and the cats getting in. But it means that the bugs can still get in and pollinate, but it also means that we can get a bit of sunshine as the sun comes round in a minute. But down here we have some ripe ones, which is nice, absolutely smothered in tomatoes. But we do have some ripe ones which I'm going to pick in a minute. Unfortunately for me, I am super allergic to tomato plants because of all the little hairs and things on the stalks, so I'm going to have to put some long sleeves on and some gloves. But then those toms are mine. I'm fine eating them, just can't touch the plants for some reason, but that's just me. So this bed, the last time we saw it, had peas in it. The peas came and went, they've all been eaten as well, they were amazing. So now we've got the sunflowers down one side, as you can see, and those little plants in there are sorrel, and we grew them from seed. They were tiny when we put them out, but they actually seem to be quite happy. So they're coming along nicely, and we're keeping it weeded. There's a few beds that aren't quite as well weeded, but we'll ignore that. Let's go back over here. Carrots are still coming up, they take a little while, so they're sitting in those little troughs still. But the courgettes are like triffids at the moment. Quite a few courgettes in here. Like I said, I haven't picked any of these, so you should be able to see if I move that. We've got the yellow one, can you see that? Let's pull that down a bit. We've got the yellow ones in here, and loads more flowers coming as well. And there's some really big bumbles bumbling around. This one, I've had quite a lot of green courgettes off here, but it seems to have slowed down a little bit. There's two on there, one there and one over there. That one's slowed down a little bit, I'm not sure why, but the water butt's brilliant. We've been basically putting water in it, obviously, but Dad's been putting in his compost concoction feed, so we've actually managed to pour it into there, turn the butts on, we leave them on for sort of like an hour, and then we top them up. I use big sort of jerry cans topping up the water, because we're not allowed to use hoses for obvious reasons up here. And we just put a sort of, I don't know, half a milk bottle's worth of feed into these water butts, and then we don't have to go around feeding everything, which is great. This thing, which I will find out from my mum what it's called because I can't remember, is huge. It's flopping over now, but that was absolutely covered in these really pretty yellow flowers. That's been amazing. So, and you can see the amount of seed on it, so we're going to be pulling off and drying out some of this seed so we can plant it all along the hedgerow that the council, there's a squirrel, that the council where they cleared the brambles. So we're going to, hopefully next year, that'll just be a sea of yellow flowers along there, which would be good for the bees. More sunflowers. Parsnips are coming up and looking really healthy, and the chard's doing really well. That tastes really nice as well, really good for in stir fry. Now the beans, I'm going to have to walk this way a little bit before I turn around. Let's turn around a bit. There's the runner beans. They were about 6 inches tall in my May video. They're now right to the top of the canes, smothered in flowers and producing really well. And we had some last week and they were fantastic. Keep picking them young, and then you don't get all woody and horrible. So if I go around the back, you can also see we've got some sweet peas along here, which I'll be cutting shortly so that I can take some flowers home. But yeah, if you look up there, absolutely smothered. Really do well with runner beans. They always seem to start off like they're never going to do anything, and then they really work. So this was one of the onion beds, which we've just covered because we haven't got anything to go in that yet. But coming round to the pumpkins, which is very exciting. I don't know why I get so excited about pumpkins. We've got one massive pumpkin here, and round here there's another one, and he's going orange, which I'm quite looking forward to. I just said to my mum, there's 2, that means 1 each, and a pumpkin carving competition I think in October. So I don't know if they're going to get much bigger, but that's actually quite a nice size to do a little pumpkin face on. This bed, I'm trying to think, in May, we still had the onions in it. I'll drop in a couple of photos of how many onions we got, but we got, I think it was like 120 onions from the couple of beds that we did, which all the small ones have now gone into pickling, so I should have some pictures of pickling jars that I could insert here somewhere. And then we've put a few of the tomatoes that were in the polytunnel, treading on the bed, outside, just to see if it does help with the ripening a little bit. And because we've had such crazy hot weather, we just thought we'd just give them a bit of room in the polytunnel as well, so they don't get mildewy. So we're seeing what they do. They're not really ripening yet, but give it a chance. We've had a bit of rain for the last week, so maybe a bit of sunshine on them and that will help. Coming around, not a massive amount has changed in this area. My little pump's going well now. We reduced the water level in the trough and now it's going crazy, so that's brilliant, because we basically just want it to keep the water moving and not have stagnant water. And in here is a little friend from my childhood, if you can see him, Tubby Turtle. Good old Tubby. I don't know why he's in there, I just found him in the cupboard and thought that'd be cute. Come round here. Strawberries are doing well. Not a massive crop, but we only really transplanted them this year. Got a few off it. Friend came to the allotment with me a few weeks ago back in June, and I think most of them ended up in her rather than coming home, but that's fine. The help was definitely worth the strawberry payment. So let's go here. Right, the apples that I keep going on about. This year we are going to have a good crop of apples. Mum tried one earlier in the week and said they need a couple more weeks. They're a little bit sour still, but a couple more weeks, get a little bit more pink, and I think they're going to be fantastic. They peeled really well, so let's have a look around here. The guys next to us have made a really nice little deck and plant area. It's quite sweet now. It's nice to see it being used. Right, this giant, what looks like a diplodocus, is a blackberry. We finally confirmed it because we never planted this, it just arrived, and it's pretty much the same as the one that goes over the arch down the other end. And we've got another arch for this, so we're going to arch it back the other way. But we've had a crop off this, or 2. I need to put some pictures and some stats up really, because the fruit this year has been incredible. We've had, well, I would say kilos, but my mum's done it all in pounds. So we've had pounds and pounds of fruit. What have we had? We've had red currants, black currants, blackberries, blueberries, raspberries, not so many strawberries. We had a decent amount of gooseberries, even though the gooseberry plant is looking, or the bush, it's looking a little bit sorry for itself, but that will get some TLC in the next couple of months. We've got apples come in. There was something else, but I can't think what it is, but when I get to it I'll probably find it. But you can see here all the leeks have gone. Now that's actually one of our failures this year. The leeks, we had a bit of a, I don't know, not a cold enough winter, wet winter, not enough sun. They grew late and ended up basically bolting and going really woody, but they've made amazing compost fodder. That's the same as our broad beans, which we had down this end in the long trough. All the broad beans, I think I mentioned it, didn't taste very nice. You used to get the odd one that actually tasted quite sweet, but in the end they put amazing nitrates in the soil, so they're a really good, almost like sacrificial plant that you can do over winter, because they do so much for the soil. And then all of those 2 beds worth basically became compost fodder, which not a bad thing. We might actually do it again this year just so that we get more compost. But yeah, a couple of failures there, not so great. But these raspberries that seem to just run amok and go wherever they like, which we let this time of year because we don't need the bed space, are smothered and super yummy. You can see there's I'm going to be picking these in a little while. So there will be raspberries and cream later. Wildlife pond is in there. You can see the mint has gone mental. It's travelling over to the other side of the pond where we've got these couple of beds that we've covered over where the garlic came from, and I'll try and stick in a picture of the garlic. But yeah, the mint, and if I'll get a bit closer, You can see all the buggies. You see all the buggies and the beautiful, stunning little tiny flowers that are on there. But there is a pond in here. Trust me, there is. And the water butt. So last time I did my video, for some reason I got myself in a pickle and told everyone these were marrows. They're not, they're courgettes. They're all yellow courgettes, and there's a few on there you can see, which I'm going to pick off in a little while so that I can have a stir fry several times this week. But they are probably one of my favourite vegetables. I know a lot of people don't like them, but courgettes and marrows are probably one of my favourites. So I could wander over to the marrows now. But yeah, runaway raspberries there. Let's go back this way. Little update. The council's manky area that they stripped off is absolutely getting covered in brambles, so that's good. It means we've got a bit of habitat for the foxes and things again. Some people moan about the foxes, but we like them because they keep away rabbits. And as much as I used to have rabbits and love bunny rabbits, we don't want rabbits up here because we wouldn't have any crops. So let's go back this way and I'll stop rambling. So this is the marrows, which I think I said was squashes, but I suppose they are a squash. But this is the marrow bed. These are roses, believe it or not. They're inundated with this thing in this galvanised trough. It's a lemon balm, and it sort of drops its seeds and goes everywhere. But there are 3 roses in there that we rescued from Mum's garden because Mum's garden didn't like them. But if I go down here, ow, spiky, move that, you can see we've got marrows. I've got 2 in my fridge, so I'm leaving this one for Mum and Dad when they come back Monday. And some sweet peas, and our wild sweet peas come back. The bright pink one you can see there, which is really pretty. We didn't think it was coming back this year, and when it does, it's quite rampant. So it's such a stunning colour and smell as well. It's really nice. And here's the crazy nasturtium. So I just sort of kicked it back a little bit. Oh, and a giant bumble. He's pretty. Let's see if I can get nearer to him. Just chasing a bumble now. He's lovely, he's having fun in there. But yeah, this nasturtium, I don't think we planted, pretty sure we didn't, but it's having a field day going right across the path, so that needs to get a little bit trimmed back. And in here we've got some of our Chinese cabbages which we transplanted, and some normal, I want to call it Lola Rosso lettuce, and more parsnips down there. I'll just do a little pan as I go around to the polytunnel. Blueberries, a couple of little blueberries on there. I think they're pretty much done now. And the fruit, as I mentioned, we've had tons of fruit, and we've still got a runaway raspberry again, which seems to also be bursting through the cage. There we go, into the other polytunnel, which looks quite a lot different from the last time. We've got aubergines down here. Now, we've never really managed to grow an aubergine before, but let's go in because it's really pretty flowers. But in here, can you see that? Let's see if I can zoom in. There's an aubergine, and there's one over the back there, which I don't know if you can see, and this is really bad filming. I'll try and take a picture of it, but oh, there it is. You can just see it there. So we do actually finally have some aubergines. We have got tons of gherkins, but as I said before, zoom out, we are a bit gherkin mad. We do like pickling a gherkin. And then down here there's some spring onions and some radishes, and I think that was some lettuces looking at the leaves, but nothing in there at the moment. In this corner we've got some chilies, which finally have got some flowers come in, which you can just about see. Oh, there's another flower over there. And then coming back this way, you can see this was a mass of Chinese cabbages, but we've had to pull some out because they were just getting like giant triffids. But this one's actually closing up now, so this one looks like it's actually doing the right thing. And then some cucumbers, which are growing there, and that is going in my belly because I'm going to pick that in a minute. I'll come back out here. A little wander up this way. Not the most exciting part of the allotment, but absolutely vital is our compost area, and I don't think I've ever touched on it before, but we've We have 2 compost beds, the one there and the one at the back, that we alternate, so that it's at different stages. But this has been a new addition. This barrel was one of our old water butts in here. Excuse the mess. But basically that is something that my dad was reading up on, and it's a compost bin, but it's full of water. So what it does is produce like a liquid feed, and that's what we've been putting into the water butts. And so far it's working really well, and quite a lot cheaper than buying a ton of Tommy Right. So that's working. Rhubarb's going to sleep now, so that just needs a good feed and some lime on it, and that would chill out ready for next year. I'm not even mentioning those trees again, because on my last video I couldn't even get the words right. So let's go back this way, go right to the end and do a little pan, and then I'll put a couple of pictures up of all the bits that I've cropped in the next sort of half an hour. So it's a bit of a long video, apologies, but this is the end of July, 1st of August, and this is where we are. Well fed, well watered, and looking forward to seeing what August brings. So have a good summer, and we'll see you at the end of August. So one thing I forgot to mention, mainly because I avoided getting in a muddle about them again, is in our elder trees we have a little wren nesting, which is quite sweet. We found the nest last year, which was just basically dried leaves, and it just fluffed and blew away. But we're quite excited that she is back again and nested in there, so we're leaving them alone and avoiding the area a little bit until they get chopped back. And the other thing to add to my little bird bit is we had blue tits again in here this year. I think we had 2 lots of Litlands fledged from here, which is really sweet, letting the honeysuckle sort of go around it a little bit just to make it a bit more hidden, which is quite sweet. So I've picked all my bits, and let's have a look. This is my little haul. So quite a few courgettes, tomatoes, raspberries, cucumber, and some runner beans. Now I'm going to go and check the runner beans again now, because runner beans are a funny thing. You can pick like a kilo of them, and you go back and all of a sudden you find like another 10 runner beans that seem to have been hiding. So I'm going to go and have another nosy on my way out, shut up shop, and go back and edit this. I will see you September.